Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, welcoming you to Tennessee. Tennessee, the home of Alvin York, Davy Crockett, Dolly Parton, Jeff Quinn. Let's just name them all. Yeah, great place, Tennessee. Must be. A lot of people are moving here. Yeah. I don't know. We may have to initiate a border patrol eventually. Except it's usually good folks moving here. Refugees, right? True refugees from undesirable states. States that lack freedom. Yeah, and tax even more than Tennessee. Yeah. So anyway, maybe we have room for now. Glad you're here and glad I'm here. Glad we're all here. And wouldn't you know it, it is Sunday morning shoot around number 223. So I brought out an AR-15. Now, if you're still wondering what that has to do with it, you must be really dumb. No, you must be new to firearms, right? Or relatively new, or you just have no knowledge, maybe even interest in ARs, and you just haven't thought about them. You have very little knowledge maybe of the M16, the military firearms, M4, whatever. You're not aware that the round is a 223, 5.56, 223, okay? It's funny, I thought of that, I don't know, when I was posting last week's or something, 222, next week could be 223. Maybe I'll get out of 223 and shoot. I don't often do that. To your dismay, many people are always on to us about that. Some significant number, a date, and whatever, occasion, anniversary of some that we don't acknowledge it quite often. We just kind of crank along with what we do. Occasionally we do. Just we're not doing a video that day, or we're not together to do a video, or it's just, kind of stuff maybe we did early on. We just have not done as much of that. But it's easy enough on a Sunday. I know I'm going to be out here Sunday or a couple of days before, and I can do. I have a little more flexibility, I guess, because I know what I'm going to be posting, when I'm going to be when I'm going to be doing it this week, and all that sort of thing. As you know, we keep videos in the bank. We do videos when the weather's nice, and don't like to do many videos in January, February. Generally, this year was. Thankfully for global warming, it was a nicer winter, and we actually did a little bit more than we normally do. But I don't want to plan to be out here when it's 20 degrees doing videos. I don't want to have to do or feel like I have to do videos ever. I mean, if I get tired of doing this, I just won't do it. And if I'm doing them when it's 15 degrees, I might get tired real fast. So I enjoy doing them, and I enjoy shooting. Need I tell you that? I kind of enjoy coming out doing things on Sunday. Where all I was going with that. So what did I bring out? I brought out a firearm that I had not, of course, as usual. Think, what firearm would I enjoy shooting today that I've not fired for a while? That needs to be exercised, that I would enjoy getting out. And especially if I'm going to do a 223. And I thought through them, and I thought, I wouldn't mind shooting the old A2, my old musket AR-15 I bought in 84, 83, 84. And then, I need to bring it out anyway, that classic, sometime. But then I thought, I hadn't fired my DD M4 V7 Daniel Defense for a while either, so maybe I'll save that for just a different day and get this one out, because I really like this one, and keep it handy, kind of handy. And in fact, it was the last AR I'd ever sell, right? Remember that video? And just to prove that, I ain't sold it yet. Here it is. Yeah. So great rifle. Yeah, glad to be able to shoot it today. Really am. and shoot it with you all. Before, I'll probably see you at some of those booths at the NRA meeting. A lot of you go to that. Again, you don't have to be an NRA apologist or a fervent NRA member and all that sort of thing. The NRA annual meeting, is just the biggest gun show in the world, and that's the way a lot of people think about it. And I always have. It's just an incredible gathering of everybody, virtually everybody in the firearms industry, is what it really is. So, if you've never been to it and all you think is NRA, you can't, you just don't have experience with it. I guess it's a different perception. So anyway, at least for now, it's still the biggest gun show around, and you get to see everybody. I get to meet a lot of you all, that sort of thing. I'm not there to promote the NRA. We haven't promoted the NRA for years and years. And people ask me still occasionally what's going on with them, what do I think of them, that kind of thing. And I don't know what to think, really. I don't know. I know that lots of legal problems. I mean, they've had problems. It's sad through the years, more so than we knew, I think, with the way where the funds were going and all that sort of thing. Whew, it's sad. It's another example of why we try to avoid, even in our capitalistic system, we try to control monopolies. Once someone has a monopoly kind of on something, that's kind of what the NRA did. Not that it was some evil plan to have a monopoly necessarily. It's just they were the gun rights organization. There was some advantage to having one gigantic one, at least if it had been run better. And now we have lots of really effective gun rights organizations, and it's probably a better situation. But you need competition, even in that, where people are supposed to be doing the right thing for the membership. But anyway, I got off on all that. And also appreciate Alabama Holster. Great little Kydex holsters. I love them. I survive with them. I rely on them. Yeah, I do. So anyway, that's what I got out today. It is a 223, I think, right? People still are confused on some of the videos we've done over the years, calling this a 22 caliber rifle, and the short we did and everything. Well, I'm sorry, it's a 22 caliber rifle. It's not a 22 long rifle. That's a specific cartridge. We talk caliber, what are you talking about? Ever heard of a caliper, the thing you measure diameter with? So caliber and cartridge are two different things. Yeah, same with 45. Just because something's a 45 doesn't mean it's a 45-70, doesn't mean it's a 45 ACP, doesn't mean it's a 45 long Colt. It just means it's a 45 caliber, okay? The cartridge could be that long, or it could be a little fat 45 ACP or something, right? So, okay, that's enough education for you newer folks to the firearms world. I also appreciate Wideners.com, our ammo sponsor, and I've got some 2 or 3 different kinds of ammo out here. Be sure you go to any description and check out the discount code Hickok45 when you order there. Talon grips, Balisol, we're really lucky. And guess what else I have out here? It is the 50th anniversary. So I might take a couple of shots with the old 29. I told you I might bring it out for every video, but I won't do that. But I will bring it out occasionally, through this year. And probably next year, right? And maybe every year that I'm able to shoot it. How's that? So this is a pretty nice AR, and I'm happy to have it. And as I've said before, these are the ARs and AKs and firearms like this, and any firearm. They are the teeth of the Second Amendment. Really. And people want to make a big deal about how they're military style or they're dangerous or whatever. Well, by gosh, you're right, they're dangerous. They're very dangerous. They're very effective. Yeah, so is this, but these are very, very dangerous. They'd better be, or the Second Amendment doesn't mean anything, right? So that's what it's all about. I'll tell you what's dangerous is a tyrannical government. Study history. There's where the real danger is. Talk about death dealing and causing, genocide, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, study some world history, and dictatorships, tyrannical governments are way more dangerous than the citizenry having the right to protect themselves, from any force, internal or external. So anyway, enough on that. nice rifle. Daniel Defense. I know some people have a little problem with them. A few years ago, was it Marty Daniel said something, wrote something, and I believe he apologized, took that, I don't know, said something he didn't mean. I don't even remember what it was now. But anyway, we have to be careful in the firearms industry. I mean, there are people who step on it too big. They step on it so badly that, it's hard to forgive them, perhaps, but we have to be careful in the firearms industry, or we cannibalize ourselves, we eat up ourselves, and some of that's in this. I mentioned before that drive to out Second Amendment the next guy, so to speak. You're not Second Amendment enough, or what. I guess that's the same within any endeavor, I suppose, because you're dealing with humans. Small-minded humans, large-minded humans, average-minded humans, all that kind of thing. All the typical human characteristics of envy and jealousy, and then the positive characteristics as well. And so you always have that within any group, any organization. But we do have to be careful, because there is that especially with social media and online business. So simple to virtue signal and feel like you're better than other people because you are a stronger supporter of the Second Amendment than that guy or her or whatever it might be. But anyway, it's funny, I ran into him. I think I'd met him years ago, but the SHOT Show a couple of years ago, he came out of the elevator area there in the Venetian, kind of along with me in the crowd. And he was walking to the side to my left. I noticed, him said hi, or so he said hi first. I think he came up and said, "Hey, I appreciate the work you do," or whatever it is. And I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He has his card, and he was giving it to me, and he said something. It was a crowdy and noisy. Of course, I knew who he was. And I looked at his card, and I said, "Now your name is Marty Daniel." I said, "Now what do you do? What do you do?" Of course, I knew what he did. I owned his guns, and all that kind of thing. I like to pick on people. I'm sorry. I just like to do that. But he was a good guy. Yeah. He probably still is. I said, can I shoot his gun again? I actually I usually don't have one. I forget that I've got some Daniel Defense magazines. And I had one out this week doing some other things I've run across. I said, I need to use those more. I think they're all like in the wrapper or something. I rarely use them. But as far as I know, they're good magazines. I don't think we've had any issues with them. Let me take a couple more shots with this thing, can I? All right. I guess it'll try to blow the paper down, won't it? Or the target, will it? Did I have that in there? Yeah, I didn't think I picked one up. Didn't have the mag seated. Boom! A lot of blast. Nice trigger. I'll tell you. That was in the propane tank, you couldn't tell. That was in the water jug. Oh, how about a bowling pin or two? Sorry, Mr. 44, I didn't save you many targets there, did I? Yeah, that is sweet. Now I have on this thing, I don't know when last time I had this out, but I've got it's a Primary Arms prism scope on it. ACSS-G2 Cyclops. Okay, Primary Arms, whatever that is. And this one I think is my favorite Primary Arms because it's got a green reticle. I don't know if you can see that, but get it up there. Probably not. It's got green. I'm still not sure I like that little half moon over the dot, but I'm getting used to that. But at least I can see it more clearly than your typical red dot scope. Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, what else? Remember, watch out for scams. I've been getting a lot of messages lately again about wanting to come and shoot with me. I thought we kind of got that cleared up years ago. We've done FAQ videos on that and everything else. You know, I'd have to have about $40 million worth of liability to do that, especially if I had all 7 million of you over here to shoot. This is not a shooting range. This is my private property. Again, for new people that have missed the FAQ videos. Now, the FAQ videos, they're all just short, like 1 minute, 30-second videos in the playlist. That playlist is up to date. So many of you that have been around a while might find it interesting. Just go to that playlist of FAQ videos and go through them all. Look at them. The title kind of tells you what they're about, and they're all very short. Some of them are a little humorous, and some of them are a little dumb, but, you know, answer those common questions. Yeah, if you're new. I should link to that more often, probably in the template on the description, really, in every video. Might do that. What else? Oh yeah, I saw a comment on the video recently, this past week, about Slamfire. You know, my cat, my lovely little kitty. He's not too little, but and I saw this comment skimming around, and oh, he must have made an appearance in that video. And I opened it up, and yeah, it was one comparing a couple of 22 revolvers, and I never remember which videos he's been in. He'll show up at the beginning of videos, probably 4 or 5 of them at the most, I guess. And yeah, there he was, and all of his splendor and his cute face. It was funny. But anyway, someone left a comment that said something to the effect, it's funny or interesting, all these tough gun guys gushing over the kitty or over Slamfire. You know, he's cute or something like that. You know, so it's funny or interesting, all these tough gun guys gushing over a cat. Was the effect of it, what he said. And then it, yeah, which is just something somebody would, you know, kind of say. Somebody wouldn't expect that maybe, because he does get a lot of compliments, you know, and people think he's cute and all that in a gun video, just shooting video. And aren't gun guys supposed to be cat haters or animal haters and killers, and, you know? So the guy didn't mean anything by it. He just, you know, just make an observation, you know, a little bit surprised, you know, which is a compliment to shooters, really, and people who watch gun videos, that they see a cat, or they see me, maybe I have one of my Barbie dolls out on the table and they're complimenting me on my collection or something. But no, really, you know, there's nothing macho about hating cats. There's nothing macho about being a gun guy or being a shooter, really, right? It's one of the common themes I've tried to get across over the years. And back when I was had a gun club, gun safety club, when I was teaching, you know, that was one of the first things I talked about every time we would convene or a new group. You know, that there's, get it out of your head, there's nothing macho about owning a gun, shooting a gun, that kind of thing. And it's a kind of a testament, you know. It's just I mean, it's just kind of a crazy thing, really, when you think about that anymore. And I think I commented on that video that there's nothing tough about being a firearms enthusiast anymore than, you know, being interested in motorcycles or coin collecting or running or helicopters, or just whatever it might be, whatever your interest is, race cars, you know. And it's just firearms. In fact, I'm really getting off, well, I'm not getting off topic, because I can be on whatever topic I want, can I? But I think I'll load this 44 up. It's one thing I sometimes, if I see a comment like that, you know, the anti-gunners, they like to leave the comments. You've seen them, I'm sure, everywhere around the internet, about somebody with guns, especially if it's a long barrel gun. But if it's just a gun, you know, usually it's just guns. You're doing a gun video, and someone will leave a comment, something to the effect about making up for your inadequacies by having a powerful gun, or by having a long barreled gun, or, you know, the old Freudian, stupid Freudian joke that's been debunked for a long time. And one thing, if I want to take the time and play psychologist, I'll turn it back on them and say, yeah, well, it's interesting. I don't know of anybody that seems to be power hungry, that, that why they're into shooting sports. I said, for your information, owning a gun or shooting a firearm doesn't really make up for any lack of manhood that you might have. In my experience, I said, it's interesting that I'm just kind of rambling, but this kind of, I try to put it in better phraseology, but I say it's interesting that you see guns as a way to make up for your lack of manhood. And so I try to let them know that I'm sorry, buddy, kind of an effect. I'm sorry, buddy, but I see that that's your perception. You think maybe owning a gun would make you more macho, make you more of a man, would help with your manhood inadequacies, but I'm sorry to let you know it won't. It's just a hobby. So make them realize what they're doing is projecting their own inadequacies on us. Sorry, buddy, but it won't help. I don't think. Oh man, it's just a hobby. It's just a fun endeavor, like throwing darts or something. That's how I got. I've been addicted my whole life to throwing or slinging projectiles. I have to admit, I should have been a baseball player, really, because I used to get in trouble for throwing rocks when I was a kid. My mom was always after me. We lived in a neighborhood in Erlanger, Kentucky, till I was 10 before we got out on the farm. But we had 2 or 3 acres there, and had a little creek or stream running through the place and everything. And I was always out there in the field, and had a huge garden, throwing rocks. Just always throwing rocks. Probably broke some things, I don't know, but I was always throwing rocks, And we were always throwing dirt clods at each other when the ground got plowed up, and my brothers and I. And I was just throwing darts. I love to throw darts. I used to do that a lot. So it's just an addiction and a hobby. I don't know. Strange world, isn't it? Okay. All right, 44. It's your birthday, 50 years. Or at least our anniversary. Yours and mine. All 29. Let's pound on Clyde a little bit. Yeah. What am I shooting? Steinel. Yeah, some Steinel ammo. 240 grain. It's pretty hard. Oh boy, spun that bowling pin. All right. Hit the gong pretty hard. Hit that pin pretty hard. Click. Yep. Not enough powder in that one. Yeah, just had to bring him out. Yeah. Mainly I wanted to shoot this 223, this 5.56. I really like this thing. I'm reminded when I pick it up why I like it. Like the flat trigger. It's not very heavy. The stock comes out far enough for me, fits me well, shoots when you pull the trigger. Daniel in Black Creek, Georgia. Yep, DDM-4, multi-caliber. Well, it's just single caliber for me, but yeah, they do a good job, and a lot of AR makers do a good job. Daniel Defense is not the only one. Again, in case you don't know it, we don't have any sponsorship from gun companies. If I say I really like something, I really like it. It's not because I'm just, being sponsored in any way by a gun company. And that is one of the great benefits. I don't know how you could review guns. We're taking money from a gun company, of course. But on top of that, it gives you the freedom to be hateful or to be complimentary, whichever way you want to go on a firearm. And we don't review or get in much junk. I have no interest in reviewing junk guns, and not that there are that many, really. I could probably find some. I could get some little, I don't know, what would it be, like some Jennings or some old little semi-automatics that have a reputation. And I don't really know that much about Jennings. Aren't they kind of a cheap gun? But I could do some research, and like the 10 worst guns of all time, or the 10 most unreliable guns of all time, or something, and I might be reminded of some I'm aware of. But And I could search high and low and get some of those in here and bash the heck out of them in videos, you know. Probably get a lot of views, you know, and people think, wow, you are so honest, you know how that goes. It's like, I do get the impression sometimes there's a little excessive bashing of a firearm to try to build credibility or whatever, rebuild credibility or something. But I don't know. I just prefer guns that work, and then let you know what I think about them. Okay, enough on that. Well, it's an evil looking gun though, isn't it? Actually, it's really not. Maybe at one time, ARs had a little bit of an evil look about them, but they are certainly in common use, right? And have been for a long time. And for you old folks, or young folks, I'll say it again, if you're strictly a wood and steel firearms enthusiast, that's fine. You know, those are probably my favorites too, when you get right down to it. You know, this is probably a favorite, you know, this sort of firearm, no doubt about it. The old Milsurp rifles and all that. But I like those too, I like the AKs. And you might be missing out on some adventure if you're too stuck in the old guns. All right, definitely nothing wrong with them. I love them. You know, I don't have to tell you that. Not at all. Oh man, what else do I want to yak about? You know, I watched the girls' basketball game, women's college game this past week. I'd heard so much about Caitlin Clark, and I hadn't seen her play, not even one play. And it dawned on me, I'd heard some things on the radio, Final Four. Oh yeah, they're in the Final Four. And I said, okay. So I looked up when they played. I want to see her play once, because I probably won't ever see her in the WNBA. I'd just like to see her play. I did play basketball. I could appreciate skill at that game. And so, you know, I mean, she's the leading scorer in NCAA history now in terms of women's basketball. You know, we do need to clarify that. You know, there was a lot of talk about her beating Pete Maravich. She didn't beat Pete Maravich. She beat all the women scorers, and is an incredible player. Has to be to win that, but or to break that record. And anyway, I saw her play. I thought, wow, what she hit 9 threes in that Final Four game that I saw the first Final Four game. By the time you see this, I will probably have seen her play again, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I can get into a sport even if I don't watch it all year. When it comes down to tournament time, down to the last few teams, I can kind of get into it a little bit, even if I'm not familiar with many of the players. But it needs to be like NCAA, college football or basketball when it gets down to the playoffs, or the NFL, of course, and some of that. But yeah, I was impressed. And of course, I hear about all the controversy and all the stupid stuff, racism, and LSU versus them in Iowa. That's always going to come up, right? There's always people that have no life and, you know, come up with all this stupid stuff. Yeah, I was impressed. I wish I could shoot like that. I wasn't a bad shot, but man, I'm impressed with how people from not only 3-point range, but out pretty far beyond the 3-point circle can, you know, launch one, you know, kind of effortlessly and actually hit. Because that's the thing. If you're not used to shooting from a distance, the trick is to maintain your same form, you know, have the strength, and of course they practice those long shots, you know, all the time. Of course, that's how they get that. But, you know, just so it's just like when I played, the top of the key, I don't know what the distance, 20, 22 feet, 23 feet, I would shoot. I hit some that would have been 3-pointers. There was no 3-pointer when I played, but I was out there right at the 3-point line and in a little bit. That was one of my favorite spots, you know. But you know, if I took 4 steps back and shot, I would end up like kind of shoving it because I wasn't used to practicing from there with my form. So that's what impresses me. They practice that so much, whether it's LeBron James or a college player or anybody, or middle school, that they can get way out there like that and use the same form, and that's one reason they can hit it, right? Brilliant. But that was interesting to see her play. What else? Let's shoot this again. Can I shoot some specials? I think I have some 44 special. Yeah, these are silent as well. Okay, I'll shoot power through him occasionally, and also kinder, gentler 44 specials. Yeah, man. Nice old gun. Nice old gun. Boy. Okay. What's a nice day? It's kind of chilly, but it's cloudy. Like a light. Bullseye. Clyde needed that, I'll tell you. Boy, I can rip it. Yeah. Okay. Good old 29. You might have seen I posted the chapter 2 with the anaconda this week. I'll be darned, I didn't catch it, but we'd done that, I don't know, a month or two ago, or whenever it was, but I opened that video with the anaconda. We were over here on the Gong Club range, and some of you probably caught that. I said something about my python, my 8-inch python, and shot it. You know, I didn't even catch that until just the other day, seeing it when I posted it. I said, what an idiot, what an idiot. It's an anaconda. But I remember, especially when I first got the anacondas, I did confuse them a little bit. I mean, it looks like a python. I was probably shooting a python that week or something, but yeah, oh well. It was a snake, close enough, right? I pinned a comment about my idiocy, but you know, that's the thing about doing a video, and it's up there. You know, I thought, oh man, if I had caught that before I posted, I could have edited that out, I guess, or redone. I don't know. It's not worth redoing. That's one thing. If you're doing these videos yourself, or you're thinking about doing it, you have to think about, okay, whatever you post, you're just going to be living with it for a long time. You know, so 4 years from now, if I'm still around, there'll be someone will comment on that. Hickok, that's an anaconda. It's not a python. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I realized it years ago when I posted the video. And it's like having an old sponsor, you pop up. That's the thing that's different about YouTube. It's funny. Some of the most avid NRA haters, you know, if you go back into their videos, they're recommending joining the NRA and all this kind. I mean, you just live with your past, you know, and which is good in a lot of ways. You just trace the history of somebody if you want to. So, you know, I mean, I get that people, you know, in videos, I can't believe you support the NRA. You want me to join the NRA? Well, yeah, that's about a 5-year-old video. So anyway, interesting world, the world of YouTube. Can I shoot the AR again? Let me give some young people advice before all the young people bail out. You know, this comes up occasionally about people being kind of offended by things, or the fact that people don't respect them, people of different ages or whatever it is, and maybe in the public world, maybe at the market or wherever it is, you know, getting disrespected. Just again, don't feel like people don't care about you or your situation. It's just everybody's dealing with their own lives and trying to get through and dealing the best they can with their own lives, and in some ways it's a little egotistical to think they're going to stop everything and give you 100% attention for 30 minutes or whatever it might be, and be extra nice to you every time you run into them. You know, in the public marketplace, you know, it bothers me too when people are so indifferent and they just you act like you sometimes you go into a store or wherever it might be and you wonder, or on the phone, and you think, well, what's wrong with me? Why are they? Is it because I'm an old guy? Because I'm white? Because I'm ugly? What is it? You know? And so if you're a different age, race, religion or whatever, it's easy to blame it on something like that. But I got news for you. Again, people, they probably do not. They're not discriminating against me or you, generally speaking. That's just the way people are. They're just kind of disrespectful oftentimes, or they're not going to give you the attention you would like to get. I tell you, if there's an epidemic, it's not of racism or something. That was knocked out for the most part long ago, even though there's a lot of people that want to bring it back and create it. But if anything, there's an epidemic of indifference. Yeah, people are just sort of indifferent, and that's what it is. You feel like people are picking on you or not helping you or not giving you whatever, an advantage or something because of your religion or your age or your color or whatever it might be. Most likely it's just they're just being indifferent, disrespectful, or they don't care about anybody. They probably disrespect their own family, probably don't have friends. So anyway, don't be overly sensitive about that sort of thing. It's just kind of the way people are. But the moral of that story, the message though, is don't be that way. Don't be that way. Be helpful to people. Be friendly. It doesn't cost anything to be courteous and to be friendly to people, right? I have a low tolerance for that myself, I have to say, because I guess I've had so many jobs or positions where it was kind of my job to be helpful to people. I've been in sales, where it didn't matter what I felt like that day. It just I needed to talk to people. In publishing, different kind of sales, teaching. My job was to help people, and I enjoyed it. And it didn't matter if I was a little sick that day. This is back when I went to work sick. I didn't stay home. Most people didn't. It was that kind of thing. But you just go do your thing, and you're really kind of responsible to other people to give them your best. I think, give them your best. I'm sure I didn't every single day, but I sure tried to, and it was on my mind. If I'm, not that I'm in a bad mood much, but if I just don't feel well or as well as I could or whatever, you just forget all that, and you deal with people. You do what you're supposed to do. And then you go home and take a nap and feel bad or whatever it was. What do you want to do? Beat up on yourself, But I don't know. It is hard to accept people that just, they wear their feelings on their sleeves or something didn't go right with them that morning. So all day long, whatever they're doing, if they're the clerk at a grocery store or they are at the car rental, wherever they're doing, they're just not very helpful to people and short with people. Yeah, I've got a low tolerance for that, I guess. Because I always overcame it, I think. And I'm nothing special. If I can overcome it, by golly, you can overcome it. Put your personal junk aside and do your job, do what you're supposed to do. So anyway, that's the advice on that. I'm not sure what that advice was. Hopefully it helps a little bit. Okay. My other most important advice, though, is if you don't have an AR-15 yet, there's something very, very wrong with you. Okay? Okay. Why would I leave a bowling pin standing there? Well, am I in the twilight zone? He must have a lot of hollow area on the lower part where I was hitting him. I know the 5.56 is not a 45-70, but still. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. You got so much speed. If there is some wood out of that, which there is, the lower part of that bowling pin, if there's not enough wood to catch much resistance, the bullets are moving so fast, they'll right through it without moving it. An extreme example of that is if you held up a piece of paper or cardboard out there, you know what I'm saying? and you hit it with a bullet of any kind, piece of cardboard, it just goes through it and it doesn't knock the paper, right? Whereas if you have a piece of cardboard out there and you throw a baseball at it, even going much slower, it'll knock the cardboard, crazy, right? So, does that make any sense? Love it. I got the sight right on this thing. This is my go-to battle AR. It's got a favorite sight on it, and it's sighted in. So if I miss, guess whose fault it is? It's yours. No, it's mine. Am I recording? Yeah, I hope so. Okay, any other dumb stuff? I guess not. Yeah, nothing about all that. So anyway, a couple of fine guns, right? A couple of special guns for me. Yeah, I mean, after all, this is the AR that I selected as my last one to sell. Not that there's that much difference necessarily. Not that much. I'll tell you that. I may have to redo the shotgun. Did I do a semi-auto? I don't. You might have seen the Slugfest posted, hopefully this week, with the Beretta 1301. That is a favorite. I tell you, I could take that and this gun, and I'm good. I'm good for most applications. I'll tell you another video we did this week. We'll post sometime in the future rather than in the past. How's that for brilliant? Is the last AK I would ever sell. We have that series on those sorts of things, and I've been looking forward to doing the last AK. Now I just have 5. Yeah, feel sorry for me. But yeah, we did the last AK, and you're expecting me to tell you which one won. And I'm not going to tell you. You'll just have to wait. But I tell you, it was tough. It was tough. It really was. And that's often the case when we do those videos in that series. I mean, you think about it, these are guns I own that I made the conscious decision, I guess I was conscious, the conscious decision to purchase, to lay down my money for. And I still have them. Many of them I've had for a long time. And so I'm not planning to give them up necessarily, right? And so when I lay them out on the table and have to go through that thinking process, and I'll tell you on this one, I really was going back and forth, and I really wanted to get them out on the table to finalize my thinking, handle them all, and think about them more with them all right there in front of me. That helps. I mean, I had a rough idea of the finalists, of course, as I do with most of those videos. But I really do sometimes need to get them out on the table and think about them and maybe even shoot them. And it was that way with the AKs. It really was. Because I have 5 nice ones. I have 2 Arsenals, the SGL 20, the SAM 7 SF, and then the rest of them, oh, what a commie I am. They're all Chinese AKs. I've got they're all more or less the same thing, made in the 80s, and they are the AKS 7.62 models, the Spiker, and then that folder, Galil folder stock model that's so rare, and then the one that's select fire. Okay, so really nice AKs. I like AKs. I don't have a desire to have 40 of them or anything. I've got some nice ones. I have no desire to get rid of any of them, I don't think. And so it was tough. It was tough. And you're probably thinking, yeah, it's pretty obvious which one you kept, but you never know. You might be surprised. So that was fun. That was fun this week. As I've mentioned before, I have I'm very lucky to have this job, to this endeavor, because I shoot so many different firearms, which I could do for my collection, but just in the course of doing videos and things, I find myself the last couple of weeks John was in, and yeah, shooting AKs and ARs and 45 Colt, 9mm, just a wide variety. Didn't shoot any black powder. Haven't shot any black powder yet this spring. Need to. It's getting warm. Makes me think about it. But just the incredible variety, bolt actions, and what I bring out on Sunday, like last Sunday, a bolt action rifle, and then shooting other semi-automatics. It's a shooter's dream in a lot of ways. It's a lot of fun. So again, I appreciate y'all giving me this job. It's a pretty good job. I'll take it. Yeah, and appreciate you watching and coming out to see what's going on, especially every Sunday. Now you need to be thinking down the road about tick spray, because they're going to be out here now. They're just leaving out some. You can see a little green out there now, right? Even on this side of the hill. So ticks are out a little bit, and I've gone to my routine every day. Before I get dressed, I use the Avon lotion. I forget which I call it. There's a lot of different products. The one that's really strong stuff, the oil, I'll put on my neck sometimes, and we're in the depths of tick season. But I go ahead and use the lotion because it has some anti-tick properties as well, or anti-mosquito or whatever else, and it's not as strong, but I put it under my arms and around my neck and waist and everywhere, and just under my socks. Before I get dressed, just to make sure I'm pretty well prepared. And in that way, I don't have to think about it too much. Then I'll still spray some more if I'm going out into the deep woods or something. And I generally don't pick up ticks. Just don't. So you can still do it when they land on your shoulder. They're trying to get on you, or get on slam fire. That's the biggest problem in the summertime. Slam fires, of course, he's out lying in the grass, walking through the weeds. And we put the front line on him, and that kills them if they bite him. But that doesn't mean there's not one crawling around in his hair. Then he comes in the house and he wants to get in my lap. So he's the main reason I need to really use tick protection. Here I'm careful about walking through weeds. At least I want to know when I'm doing it, and so I can go all day and not walk through the weeds, or being in an area where it's a high likelihood of picking up a tick. But then that goofball comes in the house and jumps up in my lap, and he may bring me 3 of them if I'm not watching. He's worth it though. He's a cute boy, right? So I'm gonna let you go. Y'all have a good week. We're into April now, and again, this is number 223. How's that for appropriate? But yeah, I actually thought of it, was going to do it, and but a couple of 3 different people did say something about it, and so it's kind of an obvious thing. 223. Yeah, nice rifle. I need to get this thing out more often. Yeah. Oops, is that hard on it? A little bit. So I appreciate you coming out to watch. I appreciate Daniel Fence making this gun. I appreciate Smith & Wesson making this gun. And, appreciate everybody supports the channel. Life is good.